Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. For those of you who may not know me, hi, my name is Esty and I am a 17-year-old Mexican artist here on YouTube, and I usually make vlogs about my art life and everything that has to do with art. But for today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. As you guys saw from the title of this video, I'm going to be showing you guys my accepted art school portfolio. Thank you. Stop. So, some of you who may have seen my past vlogs and videos may have known that I was actually working on my portfolio for the past few months, and I made sure to vlog a little bit of that for you guys, and I can finally share my portfolio with you guys. So, I actually decided to only apply to one art school, which I know probably was not the best idea, but I got accepted, so a win is a win. So, I applied for Art Center College of Design under a illustration BFA, and while I was researching all of the possibilities of art school and everything that has to do with art school, I was actually stuck between a concept art major and an illustration BFA. But my constant craving for attention ended up making me choose illustration. I'm kidding, kinda. But on a serious note, last year in June, I believe, I actually signed up for a course in Art Center's extension program for teens. And there, I actually took a characters and worlds course, which taught me a lot about how to create characters and worlds, as you can tell from the title, but it was kind of a little bit more concept design oriented. And as much as I loved this course and as much as I learned from this course, it made me realize that I just really love to just make finished illustrations and finished pieces a lot more than creating the characters. And trust me, I love creating characters and stories and worlds a lot, but I just love making illustrations a lot more. So that is the main reason why I ended up choosing an illustration BFA. So if you guys kind of want to decide between that, because I know it's the most common thing to choose between, I really suggest, if you have the opportunity, I suggest to look into taking a concept art class or an illustration class. Even if it's online, it could probably really help you to choose out of the two. So, with all of that being said, let's actually get into my portfolio. So, my portfolio consisted of 24 pieces in total, 8 of which are fully finished illustrations, 5 sketchbook pages, and 11 figure drawings. So I think I found a good enough balance for everything. And of course, I don't know, because I didn't really research a lot of schools, but I don't know if all of the requirements are the same, but I'm guessing they're quite similar in each school. So look into all of the portfolio requirements before anything else, and then you can choose a number of illustrations and sketchbook pages and everything. So let's begin with my portfolio. Let me put it up in here. So I actually don't know if this is the exact order of my portfolio. I just am not able to see it again for some reason. So this may not be the actual order of my portfolio, but it's around there. So my first piece is called Without You. This is a digital art piece, and for the description, I put, this piece delves into the feelings of grief and the path to healing, dominated by deep green and blues. It represents the mix of emotions felt during loss. While creating this piece, I faced challenges with the composition. Initially, I planned a complex layout, but as I progressed, I realized simplicity was more effective. This simplicity helped me express the unexpected beauty in grief, something I felt deeply after my grandfather passed away in early March. Through gentle play of light and shadow, this piece encourages viewers to see beauty in tough times. It shows that grief, although tough, can lead to growth and a deeper connection with nature and one's self. So, we're starting off with a little bit more, honestly, all of these are really personal, but this is a really personal piece. And as you can tell, I really like this piece. I'm not one to really work on environments. I tend to work a lot more with characters, so this was a challenge, but I really like it. I made this in June of last year, so it's been a minute, so I think maybe if I were to retry this piece, it would definitely look a lot better, but I'm quite happy with like the colors of this piece, and you can see that there's little birds flying around, which I feel like the white dove or bird really symbolizes like the passing and like the grief. So that's the first piece that I have of my portfolio. All right, so the second piece is Flow. This is also a digital piece. And for the description, I added, when thinking of vulnerability, we usually tend to become afraid of it, as it is usually conveyed in media as something negative. While painting the shifts of vulnerability and its emotional depth, I naturally used soft, flowing lines and shades of blue that suggested movement and deep thought. This shows how emotions can drastically change. The artwork makes viewers think about the delicate mix of strength and weakness, showing how vulnerability can shift like the ocean's tides. The colors and shapes highlight the beauty in being open, helping us better understand the complex emotions that shape our lives. I didn't add this in there, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, but I'm actually quite scared of being really vulnerable around people, so this was a very meaningful piece. This honestly is one of my favorite pieces till this day. I remember I actually made the sketch for this piece while listening to Billie Eilish's Blue, and I was just like sitting waiting for my dance class to begin. At the time I was like working at my dance place, and I was just waiting for my class to begin, and I was listening to the song, and it just evoked like this feeling in me. So I just took out my little sketchbook and I just sketched, and I really liked the sketch, and I eventually made it into this piece. So for the next piece, this is a character design. Again, a digital character design. And I added, this character design came about through one of the summer courses at Art Center's ACX extension. I joined the Characters and Worlds class to learn more about making thorough visual designs to make all my ideas come to life. This character lives in a world that mixes nature with futuristic sci-fi life. This is seen in her design as she has a metallic body replacement as her torso, but also has animal-like hands and feet. This design shows how diverse my skill set in art is, not only making illustrations, but making designs for worlds that live in my head as well. So I added the finished design, and at the bottom I added like all of the steps that I learned about in this class. And again, I wanted to just show that I'm not only capable of like making finished illustrations, but that I can design characters as well. It's not my strong suit because, again, I'm not a character designer, but it was something that I just wanted to add in there just so they could see it, and that they can also know that I took one of the courses that they provide. Ooh! Okay, so this is my self-portrait. It's called Split Vision. Again, it's another digital piece. Oh my god. So, I added, this was my first time making a self-portrait of myself, so I faced quite a challenge while trying to capture my likeness in this piece. There are two perspectives of myself, which is meant to show how many different versions exist of you in the world. The different ways that each person perceives me causes a sense of confusion in my identity. But one thing that stays consistent within me is art. This is shown through the doodles and graffitis that surround me, as I make it known to everyone that my art is a main part of who I am. Yeah, there it is. As I said, this was my first ever time working on a self-portrait, and when I saw that you should add a self-portrait to your portfolio, I was a little bit scared, I'm not gonna lie, because I don't really tend to draw myself. I tend to draw a lot of other people and just people I find aesthetically pleasing, or just little characters in my head. But drawing myself was very new, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I really learned about myself, and I just had to look really deeply into me, how I look, how I express myself, how my eyes look, and everything. So that was the longest time I had to stare at myself. So it was definitely a challenge, and I added all of the cute little doodles, which I ended up loving, just adding doodles to this piece, and it helped me kind of unlock that little switch, and now I tend to add cute little doodles in some of my pieces. So this one is really exciting. This is called Colors Around Us, and this is a mural that I did, and I have actually a few vlogs about it, which I will put here. And before I get onto the description, I want to say that I actually also provided them with the links to the YouTube videos of me making this mural, and I just thought it would be good. Like, I don't know if they saw it, right? But if they did, I thought it would be a good thing to show the process of me in real time of me making the piece. So for the description, I put, as a young Mexican woman living on the border of Mexico and the US, I wanted to show my struggles through this mural. I got the chance to work on a mural in a workshop set up by the government for young artists. This artwork shows the tough yet resilient life of a woman in Juarez. It uses deep shades of purple to capture both the hardships and the strength of women living with cultural, personal, and social pressures in this area, while also adding a few elements that are special to our city, such as the giraffe, the snake, and the sombrero. The shapes in the mural are intense and full of power, but they also represent hope, resistance, and unity. Through this mural, I wanted to share the often unseen stories of women in Juarez, showing them not as victims, but as people who stand strong and transform in a city known for its difficulties and changes. So, I've talked about this mural several times already in my videos, but this was my first ever time painting on a big format, and as fun as it was, I was kind of forced. Well, I guess it's good that I was forced, but I was kind of forced to make it about my city and being a woman where I live. And I was a little bit intimidated by that concept because I never really thought about it. I never really thought about what it's like. And this definitely sparked my interest into really looking into my experiences and all of the hardships that women go through where I live. So this was a really nice piece, and if you want to see a more in-depth of this piece, like my feelings about it, me working on it, definitely go check out those videos. But enough of that. I don't exactly remember if I added like a few process pictures of this mural too. I don't remember. I do remember I had the idea to add that in there, but I don't really remember if I did. So don't quote me on that, but I might have added process pictures of this piece. On to the next piece. So, this piece is called Stuck in Youth. It's also digital. Oh my god, how I struggled with this piece. Okay, so this artwork captures a special memory from my childhood spent with my sister and cousins, showing how carefree we were as kids. Tackling this piece was a growth experience, pushing me out of my comfort zone as I had to make several characters interact and learn new techniques for color and composition to tell a story. This piece uses bright colors and a playful setup to reflect the innocence and boundless feeling of being young, bringing back feelings of a time when everything seemed possible. Soft, flowing lines in the artwork mirror the beauty we saw in the world as children. This illustration serves as a reminder of the pure happiness and curiosity we all once felt, while also expressing a longing to keep that spirited attitude as we age. So, this piece was so hard for me to do. I don't really make these type of pieces. They kind of remind me of like a children's book illustration, which I'm not usually inclined to do. But it was really fun. I think I learned a lot. And is it my best drawing? No. But as I said, I learned a lot, and I think what is best about going out of your comfort zone. So it's cute, not my favorite, but I still added it in there because, you know, I wanted to show that I can step out of that comfort zone. It's called Ember Light Reverie, and this is a digital piece too. Most of these are digital. So this digital design serves as the setting for a character I've been thinking about for a few years. The mix of purples and oranges give the world a magical feeling of vibrancy and mystery. The character Maya lives in a town populated by spirits that is hidden from the rest of the world. She possesses the ability to communicate with the spirits, which are often in the form of animals or mythical creatures. The color palette not only suggests the illusion of the supernatural environment, but also takes us in the world of inner Maya. The design's atmosphere of fantasy is apparent through dreamlike colors. This illustration allows for both character and environment to exist and progress in this narrative together, which results in a setting filled with possibilities. Oh my god, okay. This piece, oh my god. This piece was so difficult for me to do, so I didn't add this in there, but I actually first made the concept of this piece during my Worlds and Characters class, and I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I was like, oh, this is like a good concept design, so I decided to actually do it digitally, and I really like certain aspects of it. I wish I could change some of them, but again, environments are not my strong suit. But I really actually like the big rock that is coming through like at the middle of the piece, and I really like the foreground. I really like how I rendered those two. But yeah, I don't really have anything much to say about this piece. So on to the next piece. This piece is called Glow in Wounds. It's a watercolor piece. So, this watercolor piece shows a moment when I learned to accept myself as I grew up. In the middle, my body is made up of soft blues and purples, which show movements of clear thinking, calm, and emotional healing. My red forearm reminds me of the pain that comes with life's challenges and feeling out of place. There are delicate flowers and golden stars around me, showing the beauty of growing and finding oneself. The flowers stand for staying strong, and the star that surrounds me gives a sense of hope and new starts. This artwork is about feeling alone as you let go of people who don't positively impact your life and finding strength and self-love from these experiences. So, wow. As I was making... Oh, my dog is going insane! You okay? Okay. While I was making this portfolio, I really wanted to put something like about my experiences growing up, and I'm sure many people's experiences of finding yourself. And even now, I feel like I'm still finding myself. But like, you know, growing up, you're just kind of like going with the flow, going with like what people say. And I know a lot of people say this, but I genuinely felt like I just didn't fit in. I just could not seem to fit in anywhere, like with friends, at school, in my other activities. I genuinely felt like I just couldn't. So I kind of wanted to make a piece about that, about also just accepting the fact that just people drift apart, and just like all of those feelings that usually we as kids experience as we grow up. So yeah, that's what this piece is about. I had a lot of fun. Also, a lot of these pieces, you can see a little bit of my process in some of my videos. So I also have a few clips of me working on this in another video. So I don't know if you guys wanna look at that. This was my first time working watercolor after months of not touching watercolor. So I had fun, but sometimes working with watercolor kind of stresses me out. On to the next. Oh, this is the final illustration. Ooh, and my favorite. So this, I think, has got to be my favorite piece from this whole portfolio, and I think the last finished illustration I made. This piece is called Amor al Arte, which translated in English is this. It's digital, of course. This artwork is designed to resemble a magazine cover, centered around a character who I embodied myself in, illustrating the vibrant cultural identity of Mexico. The design uses bright colors from the Mexican flag to show pride and cultural heritage. The magazine focuses on artists from northern Mexico, an area often overlooked in the wider art scene. This piece aims to honor the diverse and unique artistic talents from this region and highlight their influence on our culture. The layout and visual elements are made to capture the essence of creativity and long-standing traditions influencing northern Mexican art. So, obviously, this isn't a real magazine cover. I just wanted it to be the concept of a magazine cover. And this was my favorite piece. Oh, I made this sketch while I was on holiday. I was on a family trip in holidays, and we weren't doing anything that day. And I remember my sister was next to me asleep, and my mom went out with my grandma. And I was just like there alone with my thoughts. And I just started sketching in my sketchbook, and I ended up making this sketch. And then I was like, ooh, it looks so cute. And then I ended up putting it into my drawing program, and I traced it out. And I remember I made this drawing, and I was like, I want to make a more finished illustration on it. And at first I didn't think of making it into a piece from my portfolio, but I had this idea, and I was like, okay, it's a good idea. So I worked on it, and I added the colors of the Mexican flag on it. I didn't want her design to be like super like, wow, Mexico, like I kind of wanted it to be subtle, but still kind of have at least the Mexican flag colors on it. I like it a lot, actually. I added a few little things here and there. The title says Amaré, and it says 2025. And on the top, it says Artistas de México, which is Mexican artists. And then I have Norteños, which is, I guess, people from the north. That's what you call them. And then it says Hecho en México por Artistas Mexicanas, made in Mexico by Mexican artists. And it says made for artists. And I have a lot of little like stars, because stars is literally, I think it's become my thing. And yeah, there I have like a little barcode in the bottom, and like if it's volume 1. And also, a little small detail is now on a lot of my art pieces, I like to add a little star on the cheek of my characters. And the reason for that is because I actually have a mole on my cheek, which is the one that you can see the most. Oh, I have this mole right here. Should I take off my glasses? This mole right here. And it's the mole that you can see the most on my face. And I have a lot of moles on my face. But I thought like, ooh, this is gonna become my trademark. My dad said he noticed that, and I was like, did you really? I'm kidding. Yeah, that was the last finished illustration of my portfolio. Now on to everything else. Let's do the sketchbook pages. So these are the sketchbook pages, and for the sketchbook pages, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of slacked off on the sketchbook pages. Usually on my sketchbook, it's just a mess. I wish I could have done this aesthetically pleasing sketchbook, because even some artist sketchbooks, even if they say it's not aesthetically pleasing, I just feel like it is. But I just put a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I don't really have much to say about my sketchbook page. I just put a lot. Oh, in one of the sketchbook pages, you can see the initial sketch of the last piece I just showed you. There I have a bunch of little sketches. This was one of the last things I made for my portfolio. There it is. There's nothing really much to say. It's just a sketchbook. Okay, so for the figure drawings, I'm going to try and add them and obviously blur them out a little bit. But I had 11 figure drawings in total, and 6 of them were quick figure drawings. They were ranging from 2 to 5 minutes each, and the other 6 were longer poses, ranging from like 10-15 minutes to 45 minutes. Actually, only one of them is like 45 minutes. These, I just took a bunch of references. There are no, well, at least at the time that I was working on my portfolio, there were no available live figure drawing classes, or I guess workshops at the moment. So I had to go online on YouTube channels. There are several YouTube channels that I was able to find, and they really saved my life because I was looking for months and months and months trying to find figure drawing courses near me, and there just wasn't any. And then I guess my luck is just really bad. They ended up actually making a figure drawing class. I don't know if it's a figure drawing. I don't know if it's exactly figure drawing, but it was like a human drawing class in like my local college. But yeah, this happened like a month or two after I sent in my portfolio. So I guess my luck is just really bad. But that concludes my portfolio, and wow, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a minute since I've looked at all these pieces. This portfolio challenged me a lot because I got really comfortable doing fan art for a while, and obviously you can't put fan art in your portfolio. If you didn't know that, now you know. You cannot put fan art into your portfolio. Please do not do that. They want to see your art and your voice, especially in something like illustration, or I guess also concept design. Make your own characters, please. Don't take already made characters and put them in. So during this whole time of making my portfolio, I feel like I learned so much about myself because I really had to look deep into like my experiences, my childhood, who I am. And I was full on having an identity crisis. And not only in my portfolio, but for example, I had to write 2 essays for my application, and those were like about me, and it was just like really difficult to look deep into myself for such a long time. But with my portfolio being concluded, I wish I could give you guys tips, but I think the biggest tip that I learned is to just start making your portfolio months prior to the deadline. Give yourself enough time, because I don't know if I just worked really slowly or what, but I had a hard time meeting the deadline and I made it. But just make sure to begin your portfolio with enough time. Again, each artist works at their own pace, so just like give yourself time. That is it for my portfolio. Yeah, I'm happy that I got accepted, and yeah, it's still kind of hard to process, but I was like nervous for a few months. Well, I guess it wasn't that long, for like 2 months, trying to wait for my decision letter. But if you are watching this and you're struggling to put a portfolio together and everything, trust me, it seems really hard and challenging, but it's really not. It's actually really simple, and I definitely stressed a lot about like, what do I do? Like, what if it's not good? Like this and that. So really just like, yeah, do your research, but don't worry too much. It's not that complicated, at least for art school. I can't say about like more professional working portfolios. I don't know about those. I've never made a portfolio to apply for a job yet. Yeah, so this has been my portfolio. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it helped you at least get an insight, or I didn't really give tips, but I hope it just helped you in your process to make an art portfolio for school. And if you're not working on one, then at least I hope you enjoyed watching me talk about my art and portfolio for however long I've been speaking. And thank you all for watching this video. It was a little bit different from my usual content, but I really wanted to make this video because, trust me, while working on my portfolio, I watched so many of these videos, and a lot of them didn't really focus on an illustration portfolio, so I hope I was at least a little bit of help to somebody out there. And yeah, so that'll be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.